What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems, and today we are going to talk about if it's too late or not to get that residency in Mexico and or Canada. Lots of news is newsing about the adversarial situation between both countries, and I have been inundated with questions about, oh, what should I do? Oh, I don't know. I may have to wait. Oh, I'm scared to fly. Oh, all of these things. And so what I wanted to do today is to basically come in and, talk about what's going on from the intel that I know and talk about some of the predictions or possible predictions that can occur. Right. And so, as someone who has gotten her residency, who I'm blessed to say that the job is done. I got my residency in 2022. Um, things weren't like this, right? Things were not like this. We were not having the prime minister and the presidents of those two countries going back and forth publicly with the president of our country, and in not so nice ways, right? And so today I'm just going to share my thoughts, share what I have been reading from some of the people that have been in the process recently, and some of the feedback I've even gotten, things that I haven't seen happen before. Like things are happening, right? But is it too late? I don't know, but the process is definitely different and can definitely get a lot different depending on what happens with each country. And so let me first introduce myself. Hey everyone, what's up? I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. Here on this channel, we talk all things wellness, travel, and finance, money, shmoney from a cultural perspective, from a Black woman's point of view. And so many of you, or some of you, know that not only did I get my residency, I have consulted. Some of you are my clients that I have consulted or helped coach through getting their residency in Mexico. I also have produced multiple books that help you get your residency. And with that being said, people who have not finalized the process, even though I see a couple people in here that have, oh my gosh, I'm not going to call you out. I'm not going to call. I see two people off the bat that have gotten their residence here in the US, their residency approved here in the US. So they have their residents, right? They just have to go to Mexico to finalize the process. So at least the first part is complete. But since I've, been part of that process, of course, the questions are coming. I have so many topics that I want to cover. Oh, goodness. I'm going to have to go live a few times this week to get them all out. I'm just trying to decide which comes first. And I think the only reason I'm doing this one today is because of what is going on with Canada right now and the US. Like Mexico, we're on a little reprieve, right? I think the new dates for the tariff are in April. Don't quote me on the exact date, but in April. So things are still, kind of, we're frenemies right now with Mexico. With Canada, not so much. And so I thought it would be important to have this topic, this conversation today, and then follow up with the other hot topics that I really want to discuss a little later on. So let me just say hi to some people, and then I'm going to get into the content. Hey, WM. Hola, ¿cómo estás, mis amigas? Hey, Just One. Buenos noches. Good to see you. Hey, Moni. Good to see you. Hey, Zawadi. Good to see you as well. None of your biz. I haven't seen you in a minute. Yeah, it makes you mad and sad at the same time. That should get you into some action. That mad and sad should equal action, if whatever the action is. So use that to fuel yourself to be about that action. Hey, Jackie's Journey. Oh, I'm glad you caught the live too. Yes, you do have your residency. I remember your whole family, I think, right? And the children, and I don't remember if it was a girlfriend or anyway, I know you have a crew already approved. So congratulations on that again. Yeah, things can listen. I done updated my iOS. I done did everything with the StreamYards. We're just going to have to switch with StreamYard because they're not being kind to your girl now. But yeah, things can get a little different, and we're going to definitely go over that. Oh, what's up, LJ? Good to see you. Yes, and LJ is also part of the Maximize Assets Grow Abundance family. So many gems that are dropped in that community, which is also leading me to more topics I want to cover with the general public. So yes, hey LJ, welcome. 10. That's right. I knew it was I knew it was the Brady Bunch crew, right? Or should I say the Jackie Journeys crew? So yeah, congratulations with that. Yeah, so I just want to quickly get into it. Like I said, I would not be doing a good service if I came in talking about how to get your residency, the power of getting your residency without also addressing what's going on right now, because people are nervous and people are concerned. And so let's just start with, I don't know, I'll start with probably what I have heard from some of the clients. Well, actually one of the clients who just had a interesting time at a consulate where something did not happen. Something I hadn't heard of happened to her, where she had the appointment, she had her documents, but never got to sit down for the interview. There was a gatekeeper in between her and the interviewer. And this was just a week ago. And basically the gatekeeper just looked at her papers and was like, no, you're missing something. But this is like a secretary, not the person that she was supposed to interview with. And so she went by what was listed on the consulate's website, and they were like, nope, I need you to bring something else. Now keep in mind, she had drove over an hour to this particular consulate, and they pretty much denied her from even having the interview. And this was the same day that the tariffs took him or were about to take place. So this was a week ago. I want to say a week ago. It was either Monday or Tuesday of last week. So I get like an urgent 911 call from her. She's, of course, flustered. And now I've heard people go to consulates, not have the paperwork after the interviewer, sat with them and went over the paperwork and told them, oh, we need for you to do this, but if you do this, just come back and we'll, we will, you don't need an appointment, or just email me the information. I've heard different scenarios like that, but for her to not even make it to the interview part of her appointment, I thought that was a travesty. But I also think that I think there was some things going on. And I told her, I said, listen, I said, a couple things may be happening. I said, one, the person who you're supposed to interview with may be out sick today. They may not have enough people to interview all of their appointments. And so that was a barrier, right? That was a way for you to just go back and, schedule another appointment. Or they may be doing something on the back end and saying, listen, we need further direction from the president, the immigration offices in Mexico, as to how we are going to proceed if these tariffs go into place, right? If they go into effect. I don't know what really happened. Both of those could be incorrect. But like I said to her, I said, this is the first time that they stopped you from even having an interview. And if you're telling me that you had everything that was listed on their website, not another consulate's website, then that wasn't a good sign of potential relationship strain, right, between the two countries. And so I literally could not, come on tonight without putting those things out there and some potential issues that may arise for both countries, right? Listen, if Canada turns off the electricity in the US, we already heard today, and another reason why I thought this conversation was important today, the tariffs doubled on our end from the US now charging, instead of 25% tariffs, 50% tariffs on certain items that are coming from, Canada. I literally believe that now is the time. Like, now is the time to, if you can rush through a process, to try to rush through a process. Because if they do make changes, I don't believe it's going to be, this is my belief, anything is possible. But based on what I know about the um, economy of Mexico, specifically Mexico, I don't think it will be a rip the band-aid type thing. I think it will be a process. I think they will go through certain checks and balances, and there will be changes to the system. And so I'm going to just go over what some of those changes could look like for both Canada. This is border agnostic, right? It's not specific to either or country. It's just in general for the two border countries that many of us are moving to. Some of you got the From Here to There resource guide with clickable links, right? That helps you make your move abroad process with ease. And that included Canada. That book, that ebook included Canada. What were the other? So it was Canada, it was Costa Rica, it was Mexico, it was South Africa, it was Kenya, it was the UK, Panama, and I'm missing one. But anyway, that book is still good, right? That book is still valuable right now, today, probably tomorrow, probably for the at least not so distant future. If there's any changes that happen, I will update that and I will resend it to anyone who's already downloaded it. But Portugal is the other country. Portugal is the other country that is part of the 8. But again, I know that some of you have purchased that book and you are using those resources because you have contacted me and said, listen, are these links is anything changing? I know that we need the new e-visa. It's not even a visa, the ETA, the travel authorization to get into the UK now. That's not a visa. So things are changing, but they are not at the point where people are being, told you cannot apply. They're not doing retaliatory in that way. You know how the US has cut off all of the Mexican, I don't know if it's all citizenship. I don't remember the exact details, but there's all those appointments that people had have been put on pause. Mexico has not done that yet. Neither has Canada. So right now, people are still getting there on a daily basis. I see a lot of people still getting their green cards or immigration cards, their Kanye's, for Mexico. But I do want to go over some of the potential. So I'm just trying to pull up that information. Hold on one second. The other thing I wanted to say about Mexico, Shinebound did have, let me see what the date is, some conversations with the person, in the White House, and they have a deadline now. It's been pushed back. Okay, so it says, she spoke to 350,000 people who attended her tariffs update from Mexico City on Sunday. What she shared, it's a lot. I'll actually probably put the link to the news article into the description. But what she shared was, in summary, imports from Mexico covered by the USMCA Free Trade Pact would not be subject to US tariffs until at least early April. At least early April. So let me just say this. If you have any plans to get your residency in Mexico, to simplify the process, I would start today. And I mean today. If you can't start tonight, start tomorrow. you could start by getting the Mexican consulate resource guide that I have with all the clickable links as well, but that will help ease your process. But if you know how to start, just go ahead and get started, because the thumbnail said it's a warning, right? Is Mexico and Canada's residency process becoming harder? Will it become harder? As of today, it's not hard, right? As of today, it's not hard, but it can very well become harder. So I'm just trying to get to my list of things that we need to take note of that can be around the corner. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to see if y'all have any questions. Oh, here's my document. See if y'all have any questions. And do me a favor in the chat. If you're thinking about getting residency, put thinking about it. If you are in the process of getting in process, if you have no desire to get residency in any of these countries, put I'm good. So I'm thinking about it, in the process, or I'm good, so I could just see who is here as I go through these potential or possible areas of change that can happen with the residency process. So let me just see. Hey, I see a couple more people. Hey, Christine, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Patricia. Good to see you. So I'm just going to go through. I don't see any questions. If you have questions, of course, put the Q in front of it, and I'll get to those first. But yeah, let me know where you are. I know where some of you are, but let me know where you are in the process. Okay, so I just, in this video, in this live, the goal is to basically summarize some of the potential changes in the residency process for Americans looking to move to Mexico or Canada if the two countries become adversaries. If they go from being compadres to adversarial, I don't even know if that's how you say it, but to, become adversaries, then these are the things that we need to look out for. And again, the motive for me putting this video together is because of the questions that have come to me personally from people who I have either worked with in this process, or who have purchased one of the documents in the process, or just things that I'm seeing people say. So I also was scheduled to have a scouting trip in May, right? And this was based on people who were on my back to schedule this scouting trip in Mexico this May, because I did one last May, and they were like, "Oh, are you bringing it back? I really want to go. I'm ready to get out of here. Please, I'm there." So now when I announced it, and then I, reach out to them, and it was going to be, minimal. I don't do big group trips. That's just not my thing. And especially since it's scouting, so we're going for a purpose. It was going to be no more than 10 people. I said 5 to 10 people, we're good. Then came oh, I'm scared to fly. The planes are dropping out the air. Oh, I don't know what he's going to do with the job situation. I don't know what's going to happen, with my Social Security. Listen, if you've been rocking with me since November, why are you surprised? Like, why were you surprised about any of this? Okay, the plane situation, I get. Well, I don't get being scared, because at the end of the day, anytime you wake up in the morning, there is a chance that you may not make it through the day, right? And so what I decided to do was to just cancel that, because I'm not going to, schedule people, tour guides times, realtors times, and, spend money, secure their, availability for people who are not really about that, like really about that. Because if it was me, that would be even more reason for me to get, if I got to take drive across the border, whatever, I'd be trying to figure out a way. So I'm not going to waste my time in that area. I'm going to let everybody know when I'm there that was interested. If in fact you then want to come, I will schedule everything. Have no problems doing that. Of course, there will be fees for certain things, because these, people their time. They don't do this for free. This is their job in, Playa del Carmen. But I'm going to be there for a good portion of the month of May. And so if you're willing, if you want to come, if you want to come, you want to get your residency, you need to start now on this side. And so that when are ready to go to Mexico, you have your approval in hand. But let's just go over some of the potential changes that could happen. Of course, stricter immigration policies. What can that look like, right? Increased visa and residency requirements, potentially making it harder to gain legal residency. Now, listen, this is all speculative. We don't know what's going to happen, but we've already heard the word retaliation one too many times, right? Once from, Mexico, once from Canada. These retaliatory tariffs may turn into retaliatory visas or residency approvals. And we're going to get into that in a second. But yes, stricter immigration policies can happen. And what I've also been seeing, I don't think I put this in my notes, but what I have been seeing is that people are getting denied for things that they wouldn't have gotten denied for. A lot has to do with the influx of applications, right? There has been, and if you're in any of these groups, you see there is an influx. These consulates are swamped. So think about it. They're not only swamped with the visa process for people, Americans who want to, move there, become immigrants in their country. They're also dealing with the immigrants in this country that are now left out there to figure it out, do I need to go back to my country? I've been here working. I have a family. They are dealing with their own national citizens as well. So these offices are swamped. And so the fact that people are being denied for things like super strict things, and I don't want to go through the list, but there are strict things that would not have gotten you a denial in the past that I am hearing and reading are, people are being denied for. Now, each consulate is different. You could right now go to different consulates and one may be strict, the other one may be not so strict, right? But you have to definitely do your own due diligence and figure out which one works for your needs, whatever your needs are. But yeah, there could be stricter requirements and policies. There also could be new barriers for residency put into place. Listen. Oh, and when it gets to stricter immigration policies, I almost forgot this. The processing times. You know how we talked about staying ready with getting our passports because the processing times can at any minute double, triple, quadruple with the State Department, the Department of State. It's the same that can happen with the immigration going into Mexico and or Canada. Longer processing times can squash your dreams, right? If you, and we're not just talking about a couple weeks, it could be a couple years. It could be, we don't know what that could look like. And so you know what? This is not going to be a speculative conversation. We'll have a speculative conversation on Thursday at our flawless meetup, our private meetup. But I do believe that there are some things behind the scenes that could be going on. But yeah, longer processing times, higher fees. Right now, to apply here in the US, it's only $54, $54 US just for your application fee here in the US. Now, when you get to the other side, depending on what visa or what residency you're completing, if it's temporary, if it's permanent, how many people, if you use what they call a facilitator, that can, be additional money. But let's just say all in all, you're not going to spend, I won't say you're not going to spend. Let's just say you can do it for a few $100s, right? A couple $100s. That doesn't include your travel arrangements, but just the process. They can make that so that one, The application fee here could be several $100s. The application fee on the other side could be several $1,000s. We just don't know. And that's how they can offset also if they decide to minimize the number of approvals, they can offset it by the higher costs. And people are so they're so desperately trying to leave that, listen, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's just say that. So new barriers to residency is another way that things can change if the two countries become adversarial and there is retribution, right? If there is retribution from the Canadian government or the Mexican government against the United States government, or the United States citizens, I should say, who want to expatriate or become immigrants in other countries, that can be barriers can be put into place that will affect us. So what does that look like? They may limit the number of Americans allowed to gain residency, both permanent and temporary, and also citizenship, because there are some people that want to become citizens in both of those countries. They can limit those numbers. Right now, if you see what I see, it just seems like it's an endless flow of residency cards being, passed around. There's no like, oh, these are our last 200 residency cards. No, it seems like an endless flow, especially in Mexico. They can also put in place more stringent scrutiny for work permits or for family reunification applications. That's another way to get residency. So work permits and be adjusted or readjusted and continue to be adjusted. And so again, right now, everything's status quo, good to go for both countries. We just don't know what that's going to look like. And again, I have my theory on why certain things may turn out this way. And I'll just say one thing: a lot of our money, our retirement money, our SSI money, our pension money, is when we leave, it leaves with us. Even though you may have a US bank account, you're spending a good majority of your money outside of the country. And so, so that could be an issue. Let's talk about reciprocal restrictions. So the stricter the policies for especially Mexicans, but even Canadians, if the US starts to impose stricter policies for both Canadians who want to become United States residents or citizens or immigrants, the same with Mexico, if they want to, which they have shown that that's what they want, if they want to impose stricter regulations for for Mexicans, then guess what? Both Mexico and Canada can also impose stricter policies for applicants, including, like we said, including residency caps, the amount of people that can get residency, and higher rejection rates. And that could be just you may get caught up in that window. And so before that starts to happen, again, I think there was a divine reason why in November I started urging people. Now, I have been talking about getting residency since 2022 in Mexico. I started putting together these resource guides to help you out back in November to make the process smoother. And I started upping my consultation availability to help people out with insider information to get approval and also get access to people who can help you on the other side. But I started talking about this a long time ago. So the rejection rates right now, I do see on the Mexican side, like I mentioned earlier, a little spike for simplistic, basic things. Now, this is the thing about it, though. Some people are getting rejected in one consulate and then the next day or the next week go to another consulate and get approved. So it's not like once you get rejected in one consulate, you can't get approved. It's just extra work, right? It's extra money, it's extra time, but it's not like you can't it's not like here, the US, right? It's not like um, the immigrants who had appointments to get their residency or their immigration card or whatever, and they're put on pause. It's not like they could go someplace else and finalize it. No, everything's on pause. So again, that is just another area. Let me see what y'all are saying. And at the same time, I want to put in for anyone who may not be here now, comes in on the back end, but is interested in the resource guides for moving abroad, for both Mexican residency and the top 8 countries that we are looking at. Here's the link, and the bundle is on a deep discount, like 70%, 80, something like that. I don't remember. Hold on a second. Let me see what y'all answers were. Okay, so Zwadi said she's thinking about the residency someplace else. Yep. I know, WM, you just have to do the second part. Oh, Alexander's song. Okay, so you just have to get started, but you're already in Mexico. Yeah, get started. Get started. Hey, D. Yes. Okay, Panama. Good. Now, let us know about Panama, because that's another, situation, a tense situation that we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, definitely the sooner the better. Yes, getting your residency card in Mexico, DQ. You will sign up for my Mexico scouting trip. Oh, okay. Listen, I will let y'all know. I done heard it all before. I'm about to sing the song, heard it all before. And again, because it's already, March, and I don't have the time to, go back and forth with people and payments and stuff like that. And it's super affordable. Like, I just prefer to do it this way now. So what I am going to do is I will let you know, D, please. D, did you sign? Let me know if you signed up for any of the resource guides and if I have your email anywhere, because this way I can let you know via email. And again, I already have a list of like 6 people who say, yeah, they still want to go. But again, I'm not going to be, I'll be there. I will be there, and I will, make sure we have a decent, when I say decent, a decent amount of time to scout Playa del Carmen. Oh, Patricia, you're prepping for Portugal. Wonderful. When am I leaving? I haven't booked my trip yet, but the other thing is JetBlue has some really great deals right now. So I plan to book no later than tomorrow. I forgot the sale is over on the 14th, I want to say. I may be getting that mixed up with another sale for something, but I plan to book between tonight or tomorrow. So I have to book I want to book my lodging first and then book my flight. So I will be there from like the first week until at least through the 3rd. And then I'm thinking about going to Belize for a little while. So I will let you know. Oh, you need help with getting your Mexican residency in Panama and Mexico. Okay, well, my links are in the description. So if you want my help, the links are there. There's also, like I said, the affordable guidebooks to get you started. I just put the link in there, both of them. So if you get the From Here to There resource guide and the Mexican residency, they're both, I think, under $20, like together, like both of them separately together. It's a bundle. And they all have clickable links. So you don't even have to do the research. Like, you just click on the link and it takes you to the consulate you want to go to. If you want to check out another consulate and their requirements, there's links there for that. Whole bunch of information in there. So I put the link there. You can go ahead and get that while it's on a bundle deal. And I'll probably keep it on a bundle deal because of the timing, at least through the rest of this month. It was the Black History Month special, which I'm just going to keep for Women's History Month. You're trying to find a facilitator because you need an appointment. Okay, WM, let's talk about it. let's talk about it. I don't know where you want which city you're going to, but yeah, let's talk. You have my email address, so um, let me know. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, so there's the link. That's the link to the Beacons resource guide, but I'm going to get back into the link. Girl, I'll get into the social commentary on Thursday. You haven't signed up for anything you don't think, should you put your email on here? No, don't put your email on there. I'm just going to put a link for a free resource for you to sign up for. And your email address will come up once you sign up. And hopefully we can connect that way. Hopefully I'll be able to, well, I'm going to send to my entire email list, so you'll be fine. So let me just find something that is complimentary for you to, here you go. I am going to do the traditional news sources, non-traditional news sources that we should be reading and researching for the best accurate news, both domestic and international. And so I'm just going to put that link in the chat. Anybody who wants to sign up for the email list, go ahead, get your free downloadable copy of that, and try to sign up within the next day or two so I can associate your sign up with with this resource guide. So news. And then I'm going to get into the rest of the potential areas of change. Okay. So I just put the link in the description. So let's get into, we talked about reciprocal restrictions, reciprocity. There could also be some diplomatic and legal considerations. So there could be diplomatic breakdowns that can lead to suspension or reevaluation of existing agreements, such as NAFTA, affecting free movement across borders. So that may also just affect tourists, right? If they decide to say, okay, you Americans, y'all cannot cross the border. If you don't have residency someplace else, if you don't already have a visa to like enter another country, and even that can be, halted, as we saw the person in the White House do here. But you stack the odds in your favor when you already have gone through the process and have legal documentation saying you belong or can be in a country versus not, right? We saw what happened in 2020. Country shut down. You couldn't go no place for a minute, right? And so considerations that too can be a possibility. And these are all possibilities. I'm not saying this is going to happen. It's just preparation is key. Staying ready so we don't have to get ready. Also, there can be potential revocation of preferential treatment for Americans in residency processes. Listen, we know the gringos be gringoing, right? We know that Americans we think, when I say we, I'm not talking me and I'm not talking y'all probably, but we think we're better than. And so a lot of times that's how other countries treat us. Our passport, we talked about the strength of the American passport and how we've been falling for the past 10 years, but we're still, the top 8, although tied with, there's 22 countries in that top 8. But, our passport privilege is real, and that may be no longer the case in certain countries if there's adversarial relations. So, yeah, that could be another legal or diplomatic consideration. Also, when it comes to protection of existing residents. So Americans already living in these countries may be allowed to stay, more than likely, if they've done it the legal way. And especially, I say with Mexico, because of the economics, I think that goes with that. but they may face more difficulty in renewing visas or obtaining new ones. Not that you can't get it, but you may have to do a little, like you may have to prove again that you are financially solvent. So like in Mexico, once you prove it on this side, you don't have to prove it again. So if you have temporary there, if you have permanent residency there, you do not have to prove your financial solvency once you've gotten approved here. But that could change. And these are speculative. Like I said, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but these are potential areas that things can change. Also, existing residents may experience limitations on social benefits or services. So after a certain amount of time in certain countries, and depending on, what part of the country you're living in, you may be allowed to take advantage of certain social services in said country. There could be restrictions placed there. When it comes to the economic and social impact, fewer options for Americans looking to move for economic reasons, especially with increased political tension, excuse me. So again, let me say that fewer options for Americans looking to move for economic reasons. Fewer options, meaning they may, how the man here is talking about the $5 billion card, the $5 billion green card. Think that, right? There could be fewer options, meaning they could put more restrictions, basically. Also, there could be, and this comes to limited social services, there could be decreased access to healthcare, education, and social services for Americans, particularly if they're viewed as a political liability. So right now, Americans are political. I mean, we have been assets, right? Please come, please, please, please come. And we're going to make it easier for you Americans to come than people from, across the pond or other places or whatever. Well, now, who knows? Who knows if we are a political liability? Because let me just say this. If there is tension, if there's an adversarial relationship, and again, I'm focused on Mexico because that's where my experience lies. I spent so much time in Puerto Vallarta where it was enough time for me to know I did not want to live in Puerto Vallarta because of the Americans that were there and their ideologies. A lot of them, their ideology was very different from mine. And they have and I mentioned that in this, on this platform before. Some of them, because of, their money, their wealth, the way they would, I couldn't tolerate the way some of them were disrespectful to actual Mexican people that were servicing them. And so I couldn't be in Puerto Vallarta. So think about those people. Now, again, they have money, so they may have exclusions, but the ones that don't, that come there with their, elitist attitude and, supportive of the person who is creating the adversarial relationship, who knows what can happen. Also, alternative paths to other residency routes, such as marriage, business investments, or through specialized programs like skilled worker visas. How about that? And that's both in Mexico and Canada. So we're not just talking about Mexico there. Also, increased wait times in the documentation. So more rigorous documentation required for residency applications, including financial proof and detailed background checks. Right now, you don't need a background check for Mexico. There's other countries where you do need to supply a background check, but who knows? Who knows what can happen if this relationship goes real sour? Also, when it comes to changes in work visas, there could be more restrictive work visa policies in place with fewer opportunities for Americans to work legally in Mexico or Canada. And the priority can be given to applicants from countries that align that are more in line politically with Mexico and or Canada. So those are just some things to think about. Those are some of the potential impacts that Americans seeking residency in these countries can face down the road, depending on how how bad this goes, how bad this goes. And so hopefully, um, WM, is that a question? I don't know. I'm not answering like specific questions about where to go, how to go on this platform. This is really just to educate people who have been concerned, who have been asking questions, who may be going through the process, because this is the point that I kind of want to end on. If you do have an appointment, if you are going to take the time, the energy, the effort to apply, please be on point with everything, over on point, like over plan. Take more than they ask for. If you could think, if you see it on another consulate's website, but it's not on your consulate website, take it. Just have it in a file B, just in case, because I would hate for people to waste their time or their effort or their money for an appointment that could be an approval, but it's not, because you lack just one paper or you didn't get something done the way. And sometimes these websites don't update, right? The way they should. And that's one of the reasons I was supposed to be do a big compilation book, and I was in the process of it. But some of these countries are taking so long to finalize the information that I just said, you know what, that is not my ministry. I don't want to do this book with dated information, and then people waste their time and they waste their money getting the book, downloading the book, and then they waste their money, you know, trying to get approved, and the information is not correct. So I abandoned that ship. And yeah, just I want y'all to really be on point with getting your documents together and following the procedures. And I know sometimes you could still do that. Like I said, one of my clients, oh my gosh, she could not even make it to her interview. She was there super early, and there was a gatekeeper that prevented her from even trying to state her case to the interviewer. Because we all know, like, sometimes there's energy, there's relationships that could get a no. Someone who would have said no could be like, you know what, you good, you good. And so I really want us to just realize that while things haven't completely been changed or transformed or pivoted or whatever the word is at these consulates, just know that every day is a different day. And right now, we don't know what April is going to bring. We don't know with Mexico what April is going to bring. We don't know what next week is going to bring. I mean, I know there's still conversations that are happening, you know, with there's a new, the man who replaced Justin Trudeau came out swinging, and he's a businessman too. And that's the thing. When it comes to these men who have money, not all of them are gonna, you know, cower to what's going on with our country. And so, yeah, just be prepared. Stay ready so we don't have to get ready. This is just an extension of that message. I still want to come back and talk about, you know, like, listen, there are people shocked that this man is doing everything that he said he was going to do in Project 2025. Like, there are people that are shocked. And I want us to just it is so funny, because as soon as I said project, and I was waiting to see if this buffered when I said Project 2025, and it sure did. And I heard something about the owners of this platform. So we're going to probably find another one. We will. So anyway, so we'll see what happens. Again, I do want to, you know, come back with some other videos this week. I'm not going to commit to a time. I'll be back probably tomorrow night, Thursday and Friday. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, so I don't see any questions. Let me see. Our allies in the world look at our government differently. Hopefully not its citizens. So many changes, but still, yeah, definitely still move forward until there's something saying no, you know. Until there's something saying no, we're not, but we can't move forward for whatever reason. This light is burning the heck out of me. Excuse me, y'all. But yeah, for now, get it done. Get it done. This is a, call to action. It's a call to be about that action, because we really need to understand that anything can happen at any time. And while we still have, just like I said, get your passports now, get your birth certificates now, um your driver's license, any government IDs, your veterans ID, get all of that now, because of the backlogs that will probably happen. We knew the cuts were coming. We talked about the cuts that were coming. And so similarly, we see this tension between our border countries. And on Thursday, for people who are in the flawless community, remind me to bring up my thesis on, the border countries and what could be also at play. But we see that there's already tension, and things could just become a little bit more complicated. And right now, let's say you meet the qualifications. Let's say the qualifications to get residency in Mexico is that you have to show you make $4,000 a month. If there's some adversarial issues, that could easily turn to $10,000 a month. And that would eliminate a large portion of people who want to apply, but they know that. And so again, I just want to bring this to the forefront. I want this to be something, I want to feel good when I talk about my experience in getting Mexican residency and how I'm looking forward to spending a lot of, time in Mexico, which is still the case. But I can't do that without also sharing potential implications that these tariff conversations can bring. So I don't see any questions, y'all. We have been on for 51 minutes. If there are no questions, I am just going to say, don't forget to hit this like button. If you are in here now and did not hit the like button, I'm appalled. I am completely appalled and embarrassed for you. Please hit the like button. That's the least you can do, to, say, hey, Kim, thanks, because most of you don't comment. So just hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out the Beacons page, see what resources are there. You know what? I'll put the whole Beacons link page so you can check out the whole store and see if there's free stuff in there that you want to download. If there's not free stuff, then go ahead and take apart, or get what you want. Oh, here's the link. Okay. I also have links to, yesterday we talked about the estate planning book, and then, oh my gosh, let me just end on that, because that was another just divine sign that, child, I was supposed to have that conversation yesterday. So yesterday we talked about the importance of estate planning, right? And I shared with you a book on Amazon that's like $11 that makes so much sense for you to have and start, at least at the basic level, start planning. Then I read about this young girl went on vacation to Mexico for her birthday, 24 years old. She has millions of YouTube followers, makes money. She's on all, I think most social media platforms. She's a comedian. She does skits. When I say, I think her YouTube has like 3-point-something million followers. Young Black girl. Didn't wake up from her sleep. She didn't make it to 25. This was a birthday trip. The most depressing thing, besides, the loss of a young life, the most depressing thing is the fact that we went over more than 70% of us don't have wills, estates, trusts. We don't do estate planning, wills or trusts. I'm sure that number is like 90-something% when it comes to the younger generation. She had assets. She's going to have to probably, and I don't know, she may have had a will. I don't know. But if she didn't, all of those assets will have to be dictated from the courts how they will be distributed, right? And so let's just say, I'm just saying, I don't know her history, but let's just say she had a horrible relationship with her father or her mother. Because they are the next of kin, guess who's the recipient of her assets? So they teach theirs, and when I say they, the ones who know how to manage money, 18, 21, the latest, they have estate plans for their children. And so, that was just another divine, that was God saying, listen, this was why I have you doing this. So you can check out yesterday's video. If you don't want to watch the whole video, first, if you watch it, please watch it on 2x speed. A replay should always be watched on 2x speed. That's just, or 1.75 at minimum. But in the description, there's a link to get that resource guide. And on my Amazon store, it will be in that as well. And that's in all of my links in the description. That link is in every description pretty much. And so, yes, I just wanted to end on that, but definitely let's take this serious. If you are interested in having a plan B in either of those two countries, and I would say any country, because you just never know who's going to jump on what side, especially with us pulling out of all of these alliances, and we just don't know what country's going to end up where, and then make it harder for us. So go ahead, be smart, be proactive, be about that action, and get your second residency. Or your second citizenship, or whatever it is that you want in whatever country it is that you want. And so with that being said, I don't have nothing else, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow night sometime. I think it's going to be probably around 9. Yeah, because I have accountability at 7. So let's say 9 o'clock. And I'll post tomorrow sometime what the topic is going to be about. I need to let it come to me. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, share it with somebody, and hit that like button. And I will see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Have a good night, everyone.